thing is, it was a little bit out of. Did you send an email or just by Telegram?
Wait. Just next to us. Just posted to the chat we had.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let me check. Okay. Yes, I have it here.
Okay. So let's start then. Hello, Yago.
Hello.
Hello.
So this is CL and TCAT on the other video.
Hello.
We're gonna do a really short interview with you and hope to help people decide they want to come to your session, which they won't have to because it's an obvious choice. So can you give us a brief introduction about yourself and La Podemos and your involvement in Podemos and all this?
Well, La Podemos is a collective where we try to discover new tools to democratic to make new processes of democratic participation. So we really love big organizations with big Facebook accounts with many followers and many Twitter accounts. Because that's the starting point to spread the use of this kind of new tools, that there are not just there are bottom-up tools, so people create the contents and people decide things and people make consensus with them. So in La Podemos we try to investigate these kind of tools and how to use them, and then we try to experiment with these tools.
And what about the relationship between La Podemos and Podemos?
Yes, and so in La Podemos we have been searching for different organizations, and then many people that already knew about La Podemos when Podemos was founded, like 1 year ago. Now there is 1 year ago, 2 years, because it's so fast that I can't remember. But yes, when Podemos was founded, many people there knew already La Podemos, and they called us because they wanted to experiment a little bit with new tools, because they were used to social media like Facebook, Twitter, etc., but they wanted another architecture of participation. So they contact us, and we start to experiment some time. Yes, it was a year ago. It's so fast, no? I can't believe it, but it was 1 year ago that Podemos was founded, and it was not this summer, but yes, this summer. Really, no.
Yes, so it's like very amazing because as we know that Podemos got like 20% votes in the last general elections, and there's also another party, CIS, in Spain that got like 13% of votes. And similarly in Taiwan, there are two newly formed parties in the last general election where each got like 7% and 3% of vote. So do you think that what made the Podemos possible to get like 20% vote like just in such short period of time? Even in Ahora Madrid got like 30% of votes in Madrid, right? So do you think there's like technology or online campaign involved in their success, or what is the biggest like driving force for them to get this much vote in such a short time?
Well, I think one important issue is that people is waiting for something different. So there are many expectations about these new parties, and now the media is not being controlled by the big economic powers as it used to be, because now there is internet and there is the social media, and there are processes like crowdfunding. For example, you need money, you just make a huge crowdfunding like Podemos did, and you can have money. And if you need to contact people and explain that there are some lies in the news, because it happens all the time now in Spain with the new parties, the big traditional media, they are like lying or saying things like to spread doubts about the legitimacy of these new parties, and so you can use the internet and the media to try to combat this kind of traditional communication in the TV or in the newspapers.
Okay. But do they use any tools built by the Podemos to get like the participation from the supporter of their party, or I mean, you were saying there's also a social media campaign and because everyone is already using social media campaign, even the old parties. So what made them so like distinct, even though like people want to change? Is that all, or is there more technology involved?
Well, yes. Everyone is using social media, but using social media is an art. So I think you can use it in different ways. And in Podemos, they have used it in a very clever way, because they use a positive feedback with TV and with traditional and with internet. So finally, they make like more and more engagement between people, and also they start to use different tools, as for example with La Podemos, these kind of tools that there were bottom-up tools. So people spread content and decide which are the more important contents, and this happened also with, for example, the Reddit page in Podemos. It was very, very popular, and most of the comments there were proposals that come from the bottom of the grassroots movements of Podemos militants, and also some questions that, for example, there were some interviews made by these kind of processes, and the traditional media take the answers from Podemos leaders from this Reddit page, and not from an interview in the newspaper.
So I feel like they have a much better agenda setting power, and then controlling the from grassroots and what the general media will accept from like what's happening in this party, rather than being passive.
Yes, and they try to make people interact with what they're doing. So make people participate in the way they get money, in the way they spread a message, they spread proposals and different policies, initiatives. So yes, it's a kind of making people participate in the processes.
Well, hi. So where do you see the civil tech or civil tech invade democracy go next? Is the next question.
Yes, is the
fourth question. Yes.
Yes. Where do you see civil tech or tech-enabled democracy go next? Well, now we are in La Podemos. We are people that were working inside this participation team in Podemos. We are now more centered on the governments of the cities. Okay, so we are working inside the city of Madrid government. So it's a different approach, because it's not a movement or a party. It's just the city council, the government of a city. So we are trying to search for paths of participation who finally become policy. You know, that's like distributed policy making without representatives, just a bottom-up policy, and it's not just like spreading the message of a movement like Podemos. It's more about making policy in a direct way. So direct democracy, but with new tools, internet tools, with people creating the policy, creating the proposals, the documents, the laws, and finally approved by the people. So making decisions with this kind of processes and tools. So like having a deliberative democracy where people deliberate, think, and change their opinion and spread their opinions and the proposal on internet, and it start to become so like a collective intelligence, which became finally a policy making in a government.
Yeah, I want to add another question. Is in general speaking, what do you think the key point that Podemos can get so many votes in this election? What's the key point?
The key point?
Yes.
Well, I think that Podemos has.
Is it related to social movement or related to?
It's like try to use a discourse that is very carefully made, and also use traditional media, but also with the feedback of new media like social media and internet. I think it's many things, but this could be like the key points.
Okay.
So it's not just like using new internet spaces, but also like have a powerful discourse now in Spain that there is a social crisis with economic crisis, and people, you know, the crisis problems are paid by the people who really have less money and less work. So they focus on that, and they try to make policy, but to change it for this kind of people that are not the wealthy people or the economic, the main economic powers in Spain. That most of them, they are connected in an international way with many other countries. But this is a little bit, I think also this is a little bit what can these new kind of new technologies break up, because if you see the representatives are easily corrupted or influenced by this kind of big powers, economic powers. So I think this kind of distributed power is more difficult to control by them. So yes, I think Podemos is trying to have a different approach to policy making, not just being in a comfortable position with economic power, but in a disrupting position. So people like this because they think the economic system has failed them. So this is a little bit the message that I think in Spain is being understood by people, and that's why also Podemos has this kind of so many votes.
Thanks. So the last question is, what's the session in g0v summit sounds most interesting to you? Just like who you like to meet most, or what speech you would like to attend?
So now,
did you see the agenda?
I saw the agenda, but I didn't really have time to. I have to check it again. I'm very interested in. I figure out some of the people that I already know. For example, I like a lot this initiative from. No, I'm sorry.
Don't worry.
I don't know if I have the program.
I just posted, send it to you in the chat. Well, we can come back to this later, but like I want to also know that is La Podemos is a non-profit funded by who?
La Podemos is a non-profit funded by some activists. That's me and some other activists. but we don't really have a concrete structure, so we just work around this vision of how tech tools in internet can change democratic participation.
So how many people are involved in Podemos?
Well, there are some people that has been involved, like 3 of us. That is Miguel, that he's now working in the government of Madrid, me and Carlos Barragan. But around us, there are some other collectives or for example, developers of different tools. Here in Madrid, for example, people from Agora Voting that make vote encryption. They work on that. They are very close to us, and also people from collectives inside, for example, Ahora Madrid. They are very close, so we work a lot with them also. So I was seeing the program, and in general, I'm very I'm looking forward to see some of the people from Taiwan, because I think there you have a lot of possibilities to use technology and to use it to change policy making. So I'm wondering, I would like to see all the speakers that wants to explain a little bit what kind of initiatives are you doing this year with the new politics. And I don't know if you can recommend me. You can, for example.
Sorry, my connection was dropped. In addition to the sessions, that we'll also have a half day of unconference on the second day. So I think it would be super interesting to have you host a session about all these democracy and technology tools you have ever tried, and how they apply to which scenario, and what are the success and failure story of using them. Do you think that's doable?
Excuse me, can you repeat? I didn't...
in addition to the conference agenda, the second day morning will be unconference. So it will be probably interesting for you to host a session to discuss all these kind of new democracy and technology tools, and many of them which you probably already tried, and maybe could be a session talking about the use cases of each tool, and what are the success and failure stories of them when you try them. Yeah?
Yes, it will be perfect.
Well, I think that's all for now, I guess, and we'll see you very soon in Taiwan.
Okay, so
yeah.
Hi everyone in Taiwan. I'm hoping to be there soon, and
yeah.
I hope that we are gonna learn a lot with all these hackers in Taiwan and making democracy experiments.
Yay!
Yay!